everybody, my name's Miss Vanessa, and I'd like to welcome you guys to another episode of Tinker With Me, where I take apart old pieces of technology to see how they work. So today I have something just a little different planned. I have with us a Nintendo Wii U Remote. This is from home, and it is actually has not been working for years because the buttons on here are like really sticky. So I thought we could take this apart and in the process clean it and then try to put it back together and see if we can get it into working order. So best case scenario, I have a working Wiimote at the end of this, and worst case scenario, we get to learn how a Wiimote works. So I have something else that's really exciting that I kind of super nerded out about. So I've been really enjoying these videos, so I bought a screwdriver with a bit set, so I'll show you guys what it looks like. So it comes with a screwdriver, and it also comes with all these different bits that are able to fit into different screws, so that we can unscrew just about anything. So I'm really excited to finally give this a go. And so let's get started. I'm gonna shift the view so that you guys are able to see what I am doing. Okay, so I have all my supplies here. I have my screwdrivers. I have this little container that is magnetic to hold my screws. And I have some rubbing alcohol to do some cleaning, so I'm wearing some gloves to stay safe. But I think the first thing I'm going to do is the first thing I always do. I'm going to take out the batteries. Okay, so a Wii U Remote actually runs on 2 AA batteries. So we'll get those out of the way. And I think I'm going to take off one of my gloves to be able to better maneuver around this. And I think the second thing I'm going to do is remove the safety strap, because it's going to get in our way. Okay, so as you can see, the Wiimote is like super sticky and the buttons are jammed, so I think the first thing I want to do is clean up the outside of this a little bit. So I'm going to just very gently clean it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, just the outside. Okay, and so now I want to get inside of the Wiimote. And if you can see there, it looks like we have 4 screws, and they look like they are like a tri-tip, so it goes kind of in a Y shape. So let's see if my bit set has a small tri-tip. So I think this small one right here is going to be our best bet. So I take the tip and I put it onto our screwdriver. And so let's see if this will work, because we might have to move up a size. Yep, that's definitely too small. So we'll move up one size. And there we go. So that's 1. 2. There's 3. And there's 4. So I'll move that aside unless we have more screws. So it already seems like the Wiimote is coming apart. So I need a little tool to be able to kind of pry the rest of this open. I'm not sure on what side of the sensor here we're going to open this on. So let's just give it a go. Looks like there we go, and it looks like we've lost our power button. Okay, so there's all of our buttons. And so if we look at the controller front here, it looks like we have a speaker, and you can see the speaker on that side now. And it looks like it's got 2 prongs here that connect to this motherboard. And that's where we get our audio from. And so, oh, and look at that. So here's what I thought was probably happening. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but right here, there is a whole bunch of gunk. So that's why the controller is not working, because the buttons are sticking. There's some there, and I think the directional pad was my biggest issue. So I am going to clean this in a second as soon as we take a look at everything else over here. So it looks like we have a few buttons over here. There's the home button, the minus button, the plus button. Here's our directional pad, and that's definitely sticky too. We have our A button, and then we have our 1 and 2 button over here. So I'm going to move these buttons aside because we're going to have to clean those up. It looks like I have a cat hair there too from home. Okay, and it looks like this little sensor pad, so this pad is used, so the buttons lay right here, and then when you press down on the buttons, it presses down on these little sensor pads, and then the inside actually presses down here on the motherboard. So before we clean all that up, I wanted to take a peek at how else this controller works, because I want to know what's under here. So we'll see if we can actually lift this up without breaking it. So here is the other side of the controller, and so let's see what I can see that I can understand. So over here it looks like we have a USB right here. I think this is the vibrate function, so like when the controller vibrates, this is the thing that moves around. And it looks like right here, if we look on the other side of this, whoops, that is our restart button so that we can reset the controller. And I think when it lays down this way, this button right here is actually the back trigger. So when you press down this back trigger, it presses down this button right here. I've taken apart a couple other controllers. I've taken apart a Xbox 360 controller, and I've taken apart a PlayStation 4 controller, and I think this is the most simple controller I've ever looked at. So it seems super basic. I also was thinking about this right here. So right here it kind of fell out, but this is our motion sensor. So this is the thing that detects the little eye on the Wii U, and this is what it sees when you move your controller around. So like, let's say you're playing tennis and you hit the controller, this is the thing that the Wii U detects in order to know that you've moved the controller. So it looks like it actually lays right here, and so this is whatever mechanism or whatever functions this is allowing it to do. This is where it's getting all that information and processing it. So I think we can actually, I think we've done pretty good, and I think we can, if when you move the controller you can actually see this thing move around. So this is, again, where the vibrate function happens. But I think we can put this back. I think, so another thing that I noticed that you might have noticed here is this, and I think this is where the batteries lay. So this is where our Wiimote gets its power. So I think we can put this back together now. It shouldn't be too difficult, and then I'm going to clean the buttons, and then we'll see if we have a fully restored Wiimote when this is done. Okay, so to put it back together, it's going to be the complete opposite of what I did originally. So I'm looking at this, and I think it goes, just lays down right here, and then I don't want to forget this. So this goes on, this should just slide right in here. Okay, and then press it down so it's secure. Okay, and so I wanted to clean up all of these sensors and all of these buttons, so I will do that next. Alright, and we'll let those air dry while I clean up these buttons. All of our buttons are cleaned. I am going to clean up right here because that's the part that's like super sticky. Here, I'm going to put it close to the camera so you can see. Yep, that's gross. Okay, so now that everything is super clean, here comes the tough part, because I don't know if I know a Wiimote enough to know exactly where all of these buttons go. But I'm gonna start with this one. So I believe we'll put it on this, we'll put the actual directional pad and all the buttons on this side and then flip it over. But there's that button. I think this is the A button, which there's only one way to place that one. We have our power button. All right, there it is. Okay, so it looks like the next sensor pad that we are putting on is this one, which should just lie right there. And then these three buttons, which I think is a big uh-oh, because I don't know which ones go where. I think the home button is center, but let's see, I think there are, oh, yep, that looks about right. And so I think the plus sign goes on this side, maybe, there we go. And then the minus side goes on this side. Okay. And our last two buttons should go where this sensor pad is. There is a 1 and a 2, so is 1, no, I think 1 goes right there, and then 2 goes right there. Okay, let's see if we can successfully flip this back over without spilling out all of those buttons. Maybe we should put the sensors on this side instead. This, and that. Oh, whoops. Put that one the wrong way. That's got to go like that. And we should be good to flip it over now. And there we go. The last thing to do is put our screws back in there. Okay, and it's back on there. It's nice and secure. We can put our batteries back in there. Close our top. And now let's test our buttons. Oh wow, that's a lot easier than it was before. Our A button, our minus button, our home button, our plus button, and our 1 and 2. And of course the triggers are always the trickiest part, but that looks like it's working too. I think I have a working Wiimote again, which I'm really excited about. I'm excited to go test this out at home to see if it'll work. Okay, so I am all done taking apart my Wiimote and putting it back together, and I'm really excited that the buttons seem to be working better now. So I'd say that this was a success. I had a whole lot of fun actually doing that. So if you guys end up doing some tinkering at home, I would say make sure that you are wearing your goggles. Make sure that you always take out the batteries before working on any project. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!